I'm not going to be teaching you. I'm not going to be preaching or even speaking at you. I just want to talk to you, right? Um, and a part of what I'm going to be saying is going to be leaning on some of my experiences in the last 1 month and how my mind has traveled. So I'm just going to share with you some basic things that I think you should. My topic is disrupting yourself, right, to create your new self or something like that. But I did get a drift, so I'm just going to speak to that idea. Um, First of all, you have to know that the world has changed drastically. The change occurred in 2018. 2018 is like a change in the operating system running the world. You know how when a when a system is kind of due for an update, it's just due for an update. Maybe a phone is due for maybe an iPhone is due for an update, and you don't go take the update. What's going to happen? After a while, you can't even download apps successfully. It begins to malfunction. It's more susceptible to viruses. It's slower. Just continue to malfunction until you go take the update, right? So a lot of people are overdue for update. The world as a whole has been overdue for this OS update since 2018. And then when COVID hit, what happened actually is that COVID, fast tracked that which we were supposed to have done by ourselves. So we were launched into a borderless world from 2020. Before 2020, you have a meeting in Singapore from, say, Texas. You are going to have to, most of the time, fly to Singapore to have that meeting. Because of COVID, the first option now, saving money, saving burning, you know, carbon on, burning, engine online and preserving the climate, saving time, energy, resources. We could have that meeting just as we are having this meeting now. As of 2018, you probably will not think of having this event virtually. You probably want to have it physically. And you're going to spend more money doing that. They're going to book a hall. You're going to provide all kinds of things. They're going to print. They're going to do so many things just to be able to do the same thing that you are doing now. And everybody is hooked up from wherever they are in the world because we have come into a borderless world. There are a lot of things about borderlessness in itself. The idea that from one spot, you could curate ideas and architect those ideas in such a way that no limitation exists to how elastic those ideas can become and how deeply within different geography they can be experienced. So in a borderless world, you could create one idea in Accra or somewhere in Johannesburg or somewhere in Abuja or Lagos or Enugu or somewhere, Niger, and the whole world from one spot is responding to that idea, either with followership or some form of commitment or purchasing power. And you are collecting that purchasing power from all over the world and bringing it to headquarters in Accra or headquarters in Abuja or in Enugu or in Niger or Dakar or Nairobi or somewhere. It's not a new idea. It's just how we experience the idea that has changed. The fact of ideas going global and attracting purchasing power from all over the world, that idea is not new. Toyota is in every country in the world. You find Toyota in every country. They attract purchasing power from all over the world and bring it to headquarters in Tokyo. The same thing for Sony. The same thing for Panasonic. The same thing for Hitachi. The same thing for Mitsubishi. Mitsubishi. The same thing for Kia in Korea. The same thing for LG, Nokia. Think about Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Opel, Twitter, X, Meta, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, GM Motors, GE, General Electric, Ford, the Ford Corporation. You could go on and on. Coca-Cola Company, PepsiCo, Geico Insurance. You could go on and on. Gillette, Fruit of the Loom. These are companies that are operating that are set up within a geography. They passed the test of locality, but they took responsibility for the test of universality. They insisted on their space under the sun. The biggest people you know in the world are not necessarily the richest people, but you know them from wherever you are in the world because they chose to rent a space in your head without your permission, whether you like it or not. They superimpose their meaning and the value they represent on the minds of billions across the globe. Call it across the globe. Call it Elon Musk. Call it SpaceX or Tesla. Call it Microsoft, Windows, or call it Apple, iPhones, or the Mac. Call it whatever the brand is. Call it Amazon, Jeff Bezos. Essentially, the idea is that we will spread our own value, whether who approves or disapproves notwithstanding. We will rent a space in your pocket, in your heart, and in your head. You will send your time, energy, and resources our way, whether you like it or not. Now, you didn't sit down somewhere today to say, hey guys, I need GSM. Can somebody send me make a phone or a tablet for me to be using? You did. You were living your life. You didn't sit down somewhere to say, oh, please, I need a wristwatch. Can somebody make a wristwatch for me? Or I need a pair of glasses. Can somebody go and invent a pair of glasses? Oh, I need to be flying around the world. Can somebody invent a plane? You were living your life. Some people took responsibility for how the world we live, for how the world we love, for how the world we play, for how the world we work, for how the world we die. Now, that's culture shaping. All these companies I've mentioned, and I can continue to mention, the one thing common to all of them is that they are culture shapers. All of these companies are living in your head, defining the incompleteness of your life without them in it. It's a spiritual authority. You may not know. That's how God operates. Look at God's products. The sun. You can't do without the sun. Anything God creates is compelling. Compelling doesn't capture it. It's a deep necessity in your life. You don't have a choice. You engage it or perish without it. Now, that's God. So he gave you oxygen. Without it, you are dead. He gave you a brain. Your brain is a spiritual organ. Your brain is probably your most spiritual organ. I know a lot of religion doesn't allow you to give spiritual respect and authority to the brain, but imagine that your brain is dead and tell me how you will talk to God. Your spirit is useless. Your soul is useless. Every part of your body is God will be in your presence. You won't know if your brain is not working. If your spirit is dead, you can still be a billionaire. People who are not following God at all, atheists, are billionaires. They are millionaires. If your heart is wicked, you can still be very successful. If your hand is cut off, you can. The governor of Texas is on wheelchair. Texas is bigger than the whole of Nigeria. The governor of Texas is on wheelchair. There's a US president at the time, Roosevelt, that was on wheelchair. So even if your spinal cord or your leg is broken, you can still become the biggest entrepreneur. If without legs, you can't win 100 meters in the Olympics or become a boxing champion. You can't. But that without legs, you can become the biggest thinker. You can become the greatest thought leader. You can win a Nobel Prize in poetry, in science, in anything. You could be the King Kong entrepreneur. But without a brain, there's nothing. You are useless to God. You are useless to society. You are useless to the devil. You are useless to everybody without a brain. So you have to come to a place of maturity where your brain becomes your most critical asset. It becomes your critical asset, right? Now, human beings without God, but with God-given capabilities, including the brain, the eyes, the ears, and their entire, faculty, have chosen what I call positive world domination, positive global penetration, and some negative, like Bin Laden, like Adolf Hitler, right? Very negative, but they spread like Al Qaeda, like ISIS. These are evil ideas, but they still rented a space in our heads because they chose to. So, unto good, unto evil, this protocol is the same. Now, let me tell you, if you listen to a lot of people within your space, first of all, as a Black person, then as an African, then as a Nigerian, if you listen to most people who are like you, the best energy they are going to impute into you is to encourage you to succeed. And a lot of what you hear about the principles of success, you have no idea how limited they are. The same intelligence you need to rob a bank is what you need to build one. Trust me. Anyone that can rob a bank can build one. Anyone that can beg, if your hands are working, your legs are working, you are not deformed, and you are begging, and you say, please help me. Well, you can also go into a restaurant and go say, welcome, I want to serve you today. You can go get a job anywhere. You can go wash a car. The same mouth you are using to say, God help me, you can use the same mouth to say, at the end of the day, it's not about what we have or don't have. It's really about how we understand the world and how we are applying ourselves in it. That there are so many cold and timid souls you are going to meet in this life. In fact, you will meet more of them. And there are so many averagers you are going to meet who just want to succeed. Success is their critical goal. Listen, with 500 million naira, you are very successful by any standard. 500 million naira, you are a big boy. You will live by the beach in Lekki. You will travel abroad for summer. You will drive 1 or 2 Japanese or German cars. You will be well off. You will be one of the biggest boys. But 500 million naira is not $1 million yet. It's not $1 million yet. Somebody is a billionaire, not a billionaire. Somebody is a billionaire in dollars, and you'll be stunned. Doesn't go to church. He doesn't do prayer of agreement. He doesn't do. Listen, you can be the biggest billionaire even if you don't know God. The idea that those are the things you need God for is flawed, because those are the kind of small thinking that suggests that the faithfulness of God in your life is tied to the size of your pocket or the weight of the materials in your life. In other words, if it's not sweet, then God is not faithful. Right? God's faithfulness is measured for most people by the kind of car you drive, you have money in the bank, you could travel abroad, and your life is smooth, you are not sick, your marriage is fantastic, your children are well off, nobody is on drugs. Once those things are okay, God is with you. Means God wasn't with Jesus when he was dying at 33, or God wasn't with Stephen when he was being stoned in the presence of Jesus, and the Bible says Jesus stood up and was looking at Stephen and he was being stoned. Let me shift that. Now, the idea is that the reason why God is in your life essentially is domination. It's for you to so dominate the world, not negatively, but with the awesomeness that you carry, and force your environment to unlock two things: unlock their humility and unlock their curiosity to pursue your source. But you have to be radiating a level of energy. You have to be succeeding at a level. You have to be winning at a level for CNN to humble itself, to release its curiosity, to pursue your source and say what is working for you. Or for Time Magazine to do that, or for Fox News to do that, or for Newsweek to do that. They're not just going to do that because you are making some money. No. Listen, you work hard, there are hardworking people in jail. You are sincere, people are sincerely poor. People are sincerely frustrated. People are sincerely confused, sincerely raped, sincerely shot, sincerely killed, sincerely depressed. Sincerity is not a factor of production. Land, labor, capital, entrepreneur. Sincerity is not there. Sincerity is not it's not an independent variable. It's a dependent one. He needs to depend on some other things for it to be useful. If all you have is sincerity, you'll be so poor you won't believe it. You'll be so weak, tired, weary, used, abused, taken for granted, cheated, killed, you won't even believe it. Right? You should believe, but let me tell you something. Everybody in jail believes in something. Clarity must precede belief. Everybody in jail, if they didn't believe in something, they won't be in jail. Everybody in jail are doers, guys. People who don't do anything don't go to jail. They can be poor, but they'll be in their house. By the time you go to jail, you did something. You don't go to jail for not doing. Only doers go to jail. Only doers. So to be a doer is not enough. Right? To plan, it takes a lot of planning to rob a bank successfully. It takes a lot of goal setting to rob a bank successfully. A robber, anybody that can rob a bank successfully is highly skillful. That's scenario planning, project management at its best. When you are planning to build a house as a project manager, there's no threat to you. Nobody's. When you are planning to rob a bank, you know one mistake you are dead. One mistake you are in jail. So you are project managing, you are scenario planning, and consequences right by your side, ready to take you out. So precision must be on the game. Must be on it. You can't afford one mistake. Now, if you begin to think this way, you see that, hey, wait, most of the principles that you are told that you learn out there in many books, people in jail apply those principles. They still end up in jail. People in psychiatric homes apply some of those things. They ended up massively mentally challenged. Some committed suicide. I really believe it takes a lot of courage to commit suicide. So these are not ordinary people when it comes down to it. So I need to challenge you today to begin to consider a different way to think. And part of that is to really understand what you are about. Because in this life, if you don't know what you're about, you will be about the business of other people. It's just like going to the market. If you go to the market with $1, or you go to the market with $100, the seller doesn't care. Once he sees you, he's going to show you a $300 shoe. He doesn't know if you have the money or not. He doesn't know if that's what you came to buy or not. But just in case you have the money, and you are still confused on what to buy this. He doesn't care. Even if you came to buy a shirt, he want to convince you to not buy that shirt and buy a shoe instead. The one selling food wants to convince you came to the market to buy a shirt and a shoe. Forget about that. Just come and eat all your money here. Just eat here. They don't care. It doesn't matter what you came to do. People are out there offering you what they want you to do. So the beginning is to understand yourself. Now, time is such a book. Now, look at it. The first person that certified people, who certified him? The first person that said, this is life coaching. Who certified him so that he can now teach people life coaching? Nobody. Nobody. Where did he get the knowledge from? Vertical. How is he not using it? Horizontal. He receives vertical, he teaches it horizontal. The same thing with academics. Every time you go to a classroom, your authenticity is endangered. The more classroom you attend, the more endangered your authenticity becomes. Now, I'm not saying you don't go to school. I've gone to school very well. I'm not saying you don't go to school. But there is a curiosity or a rebellion that must live inside of you, greeting everything you are being taught, not with acceptance, not with view either, not with prejudice, not with preference, not with opinion, greeting all you are being taught with curiosity, questioning everything. Everything. The Bible said that even Paul, after he had taught the Berean Christians, the Berean Jews, they still went home to search the scriptures to see if all that he said was true. Apostle Paul, they still went to check. They didn't just accept it because it was Paul making miracles everywhere. They still went to check. That's the curiosity. That's the rebellion. Because any school you attend has a curriculum. The curriculum, in fact, the classroom and the prison have a lot in common. You go to school for 4 years, you go to jail for a term as well. They are both termed. They are both controlled environment. They both punish you for doing well. They reward you they punish you for doing wrong. They punish you for doing well. There are consequences. So there's a similarity between a prison. When you list it down, you will see that the same system that runs schools is what runs the prison. So the school itself is a form of prison, depending on your own level of freedom. Now, when you go to a school, remember that the school has a curriculum. Human beings made that curriculum. And they made that curriculum to produce a type of graduate. Like the curriculum in most Nigerian universities are designed to produce a worker, not an entrepreneur, not a thinker, not a revolutionist, not an outlier, not an out-of-the-box person. In fact, the curriculum is designed to put you in a box and lock it there. Does that mean we shouldn't go to any Nigerian university? No, go. We shouldn't go to Nigerian schools? No, go. By all means, go, please. Go. But go with your mind open, be awake, and have the capacity to question everything and to compartmentalize what you are learning, to take out the things that are not useful for your unique journey and to focus on the things you really need for your journey. Because most of what you'll be taught are designed to jail you. Not jail you in a physical prison, but to jail you here, right here. You see? So they have a curriculum. So the more you master that curriculum, the more of yourself you lose. Except you are guardedly absorbing that curriculum, going out of your way to pieces what you are receiving, and selecting what is really useful to you, and rejecting and deleting what is not useful for your unique journey. Then you have a chance to be free. You see, academics is what you are taught. Because right now, when you even say, I want to become who is that high? Define that high for me. This is who I am, this is who I am. This is how did you know that's who you are? When did you start knowing yourself? See, it's just me. I don't click with this type of people. I don't go out with this kind of people. I don't relate to this kind of people. It's just who I am. That's just how I function. Really? Who is that I am? Me. I am. Who is that guy? When did you meet him? Don't forget that till you were 16, 15, 17, you were under tutors. Nobody is self-made. We are all products of influences. You were under tutors. When I say tutors, I mean the doctors who receive you, the nurses who receive you from the first slap they gave you on the bottom, boom, you're already changing. The chauffeur who drove your parents, the siblings in your house, your dad, your mom, the billboard opposite your school, the movies you saw, the actors, the musicians, the music that was playing in your house, even from when you were in the womb, the one your mom was playing, everything's already shaping. And then you came out as a child. You came out innocent 1 minute after you became a victim. How are you a victim? A victim is equal to a slave, is equal to a poor person. They will give a different definition, but there's only one definition, really, and I'll give you today. For slavery, for slavery, for victim, and for poor person, poverty. One definition, what it is. Whether you are poor, or you are a slave, or you are a victim, what has happened to you is you have no control over your necessary due human experiences. Bottom line. When somebody is poor, it's not that he doesn't have money. Some people are so poor, all they have is money. What about that? Some people are so poor, all they have is money. What about that? When a man is poor, when a human being is poor, it's not that his pocket is empty. It's not that he doesn't have money. When somebody is poor, what has happened to him by fault or default is that he doesn't have the capacity, he has no control over his necessary due human experiences. Even if he does a Range Rover, even if he does a Rolls Royce, or maybe he lives in the gutters, it doesn't matter. Once you have no control over your necessary due human experiences, that you are the one manipulating your own experiences, determining the contents that will remain in you, the method you will share them with the world, the geography that will experience them, and I can go on and on. Once you are not in control of that, you are either poor, or you are a victim, or you are a slave. Go and check it. What is slavery? They kept telling you what to do, how to do it, where to do it, who to do it with. That's why he's a slave. He has no control over his necessary human experiences. He can't control his space, he can't control his time, his energy, and matter. Once you are not in control of space, time, and matter, you are a slave. It doesn't matter how much car you own. You know your masters. We may not know them. You know your masters. Anyway, the moment you were born, you are automatically a victim. How? You have no control over what you are receiving, what you are being taught by your dad, your mom, your uncles, your siblings, your environment, the novels, the comics, the cartoons, the TV, the adverts on TV, the billboards out there, the police officer on your road, you know, your neighbors, you know, the movies, the music, all of that, you have no control over them. You are too young to audit what you are being taught. How much more to resist it? You can't audit it. You can't question it. And you can't question it, and you cannot resist it. You are too young. All of us suffered that victimization. We are the mercy. In other words, if the people who received you, all those people I've mentioned, see, parents are just birth parents. Anybody that exercised influence over you as a kid is your parent in one way or the other. They are birth parents. They are grandparents. Teachers are parenting. Neighbors are parenting. It's a village. It's a whole village parenting you. The billboard is a parent. The TV is a parent. The comics, the novels, they are parents. People have agenda stock. The school you attend is a parent. Anyone that can exercise influence over you is a parent of some sort. They are surrogate parents, they are step parents, they are grandparents, they are birth parents, they are all kinds of parents. Right. As long as so those people are going to be, if they were fools, you have a high propensity to turn out a fool. If they were wise, you have a high propensity to turn out wise. Why? Because they're going to install their own programs into you. Your dad tells you you can't read in a noisy place. You can't read in a noisy place. If you read in a noisy place, you cannot understand. Is that true? Of course, it's not true. That's your father's experience. Somebody who grew up in, like me, I grew up in a neighborhood where there is a pepper grinder. There's a pepper grinder next to our house on the right with big, terrible pepper grinding machine commercially. You know those things. If you grew up in the 80s, in the 90s, in Lagos, Nigeria, you know those machines. I'm sure they are still somewhere. They are still there. To our left, we have another one there, two of them. When they grind those pepper, they're making noise like so noisy. There's a DJ again, right opposite our house, that start back playing music from as early as 8 a.m. The person selling pap, the hawkers are on the street as early as 4 a.m. Erogio, they are screaming, hawking, and calling anybody else to buy pap. There's a mosque down the road that start calling the prayers from 4 a.m. Allah. So the noise is big. So we grew up in noise, not tranquility. So right now, if you put me in a nightclub with music bashing, I will read and understand. But that's my experience. That's my own experience. But if your dad tells you you can't read in a noisy place, you need tranquility to comprehend, it's not true. It's your daddy's experience. Now, what's going to happen is you're going to all of a sudden like the idea of reading in a quiet place because your daddy told you that, because you will do that for a very long time. He will correct you when you do the opposite. By the time you gain independence of choice, that preference, that thing you prefer to do becomes what you can only do, becomes your prejudice. Conclusion without justifiable reasoning. It becomes your prejudice. You then say from, I like to read in a quiet place, preference, to, I can never understand in a noisy place, prejudice. Because if that is true, then everybody that is reading in a noisy place should not understand. If you don't understand and they could comprehend in a noisy place, then that is not true. That's prejudice. That's your view. That's your experience. That's your reality. It's not my reality. But your parents are going to teach you their own reality. Your neighborhood, their own reality. And guess what? They are all going to teach you different ones, even contradictory ones. So you're going to be messed up, confused, most likely. Except you have guarded, knowledgeable parents who are deliberately processing every information, auditing it on your behalf, and they better be wise themselves to be sure that they are doing the right thing. It's chaos, man. And then you then grow up to a level, right, where you then become the next idea as an adult. And as an adult, you are now 18, 19, young adult. Then you say, this is me. Who me? You never knew you. The last time you were yourself was a second after you were born. That's the last time you were yourself. The moment you were born, you became a victim. You didn't meet that person that was born. By the time you were old enough to meet that person, you're already compromised. You have become the influences of different adults. So this is not you. When you say, I can't do that, how did you know? How did you figure out what you cannot do or what you can do? Your experience is telling you that. Influences is telling you that. When you say, you know, I just can't do that, or this is me, this is what I can do. How did you know that? That me, when did you meet him? Because that guy, I could bet my life that's not who you are. That's not who you were born to be. That guy is compromised on many levels. See the idea? So what are you going to do? So a creative, positive rebellion must stay inside of you. Not the one that is rude or disrespectful. No. but the one that is potent enough to question everything. 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 So, what that means is there is academics, there's education, there's revelation. I don't know if this is a Christian platform or not, so maybe I won't talk much about revelation. I'll just keep it on academics and education, and it's fine, right? Academics is what you are taught. Education is what you teach yourself. Now, while you go to school, you must remain educated. Now, you can have a PhD and not be educated because you cannot do 4 things. To be educated is not by having PhD or master's degree or a bachelor's degree. That's not education. That's academics. That's passing the test of academics. In other words, showing proof that you have learned the ways of others, showing proof that you have mastered the thinking of others, that you have conformed to the agenda of others. That's what academics is. Now, the goal of academics is not transformation, it's regulation, order. 2 guys can put a knife in your tummy. 2 guys. One can wake you up today. 2 weeks after, he'll wake you up. Or 3 hours after, he'll wake you up. They put a knife in your tummy. They put a knife into your tummy. One can wake you up 4 hours after. The other one cannot wake you up again. What's the difference between both of them? Academics. One is a doctor. The other one is a quack. It's a killer. When you need surgery, how do you know the one to go and see? Academics. It's academics that allow you to know this one is a doctor, this one is a killer. 2 guys can argue a lot. One is a lawyer, the other one is a debater. When you need somebody to help you in court, if you go and get a debater, he will lose the case for you, you even believe it. You need a lawyer. Now, how do you know the one to go and meet? Academics is what allows you to know a lawyer from a debater. So, the goal of academics is to eliminate mediocrity, raise standards, sustain regulation, maintain order. That is the goal. If you think that is the limit of what is possible in the human condition, you are making a big mistake. Education is superior to that. In fact, your academics works more when you are educated. You have light, you are awake. You are awake, you are alert. Most people are sleeping. They're not awake. They're not sleeping all day. So when you are educated, then your going to school becomes a more powerful weapon in your hand. And if you did not go to school at all, your education is still enough to help you navigate through life. What is education? I mean, what is education then? Education is the ability of the human spirit. And if you have followed me long enough, you know what I'm telling you now. Education is the ability of the human spirit to do 4 things. Number 1, experience your world. Stretch your mind. Read, see everywhere. Travel if you can. Go around the world. Push yourself. Journey around the world. That's how to do it. Experience your world. Number 2, question what you are experiencing. Everything. Number 3, question what you are experiencing deep enough to find the options that exist in it. 4 things. Education is the ability of the human life to experience his world, question it deep enough to find the options that exist in it, and to know which of those options to embrace as a matter of supreme urgency. If you can't do those 4, you are not educated, even with a PhD. Now, if you can experience your world, you can't question it, you're not educated. If you can question, you cannot bet options from what you are questioning, then you should change your middle name to maybe giraffe or python. Because the difference between you and your dog is that your dog cannot bet options. Only human beings can bet options. The lion can shave. It's not like if the lion can bet option, it will shave. The reason why the lion cannot shave is because he cannot figure out another alternative, a parallel universe to the one that is known in their own kingdom. Only a human being can say, no, you know what? I want to start flying. That's the gift of the human sense. So if you can't birth options, I don't care how many degrees you have. When you are educated, you can never be stranded. Never. They block a million ways, you will open a trillion. There will nothing like Nigerian economy, inflation. They will be happening to those who are around, not those who are present. Because you are awake, you are present. You are not just around. Whatever is happening around you, let them increase fuel to 2 million per liter. You will create an option to it. You will birth a parallel universe to it. That's the proof of education. Somebody told me, I've not got a job for 5 years, PK, can you help me? Can I work with you? I said, no, if I hire you, I'm going to now discover why you have been jobless for 5 years. The brain that has not given you options for 5 years is what you want to bring to come and work with me? No, you don't need a job. You need therapy. You need help. So I'm not going to give you a job. I will help you to think, because you can't solve problems here. If you can work in my office, you won't be idle. I don't hire people who don't do anything. People come to volunteer for me. With me, I want to volunteer. What are you doing now? I say, I'm not doing anything. I just want to serve. No. If you are not doing anything, you want to come and volunteer, then you are going to come and show me. When you join us, I will not discover why you have not been doing anything, because you will frustrate us with your nothingness. No, you have to be a doer. But your doing has to be guided. And the beginning of that is to question everything and insist on your education. If I stop here, honestly, I've helped you. Everything. I don't care if it's religion. I don't care if it's a message from church or a seminar or a conference or a book. Whatever you are receiving from any human being, you have the freedom to question it. Now, let me close on this mark. I'm just giving you, I need to close there, right? I can go on and on, but I think I should close there. I saw the moderator, so I guess maybe time is up. So
no, we were just saying you can reveal, like you can get to the revelation. We don't mind.
Okay. So I thought maybe time was up. So
No, not
guys,
yet.
understand that if you look at the world, be clear on one thing. Everybody in the world is enslaved to something. Every human being on the face, I don't care if it's Bill Gates or the Pope or the Bishop, every human being is enslaved to something. True freedom is the ability to know your slavery and choose it. That's true freedom. True freedom is the ability to choose what enslaves you. Even if it's righteousness. The Bible says we are slaves of righteousness, but you're going to make that choice. Everybody is enslaved to something. Even with God, we are slaves of righteousness. Now, choose your slavery. Be a slave of wisdom. Be a slave of light. And never seek to be free from it. See what I'm saying? When you learn to question everything, it doesn't matter what your history is. You will not only create a new future, every day you live, we create a new past. You know, the past is a very static quantity. It's created by what you do today. So I don't care what is in your past. If you start thinking right today and start acting right, you begin to create a new past. And just like your hard disk, you can put so much information, new information in your hard disk that you can't even remember the one you stored there 5 years ago. You see what I'm saying? So if you learn to create a new past, it will push to the back burner all of your so-called negative experiences that produce all your pain. You see what I'm saying? But you must have the courage to live today right. Because every day lived right creates a new past, invents a new future. See what I'm saying? So, I'll give you some simple ideas. No matter what you are doing in this life, Be true to yourself. Now, never ever complain about what you permit. The kind of disruption, these are the things, man. Never complain about what you permit. I never blame anybody for my loss in life. Even if I come into your house and you shoot me, I won't blame you. I will ask myself, how did I get into your house? Somebody came to my office some years back, was just talking trash, making noise, disturbing everybody. People were, so they wanted me, they took him out. They were not blaming each other. Oh, that guy who allowed him to come in. Who allowed him to come in? I said, leave everybody alone. The question I am asking myself is, how did I manage myself that such a person made it into my protocol? What did I do wrong? Do I have the wrong lieutenants? I will never blame you. I begin to blame myself and I will take rest. If you slap me now, I don't say, hey, you slap me, I want to slap you back. I will first ask myself, how did I carry myself that you were able to slap me? I always tell people, you can't disrespect me. Even if you want to, you can't. Because I don't give the room for it. And if you disrespect me, I'm not going to blame you. You are an adult, you have freedom of action. Just be prepared for the consequences though, but you have the right to act. But what I'll be asking myself is, how did I manage myself that you had proximity? How much more to disrespect me? Never complain about what you permit. And if that is true, therefore, if you make up your mind, I will never blame anybody, my dad, my mom, my society, Nigeria, the government, the world, I will never blame anybody for whatever happens to me, then you need to become very selective about who, what, and where qualifies for the investment of your time and your energy. First one, question everything, bet options, follow that track. Then become very selective about who qualifies for the investment of your time and your energy and your resources. Never forget, your life is proportional to only three things: people, places, and moments. People you give access into your life, those you deny access into your life. When death is sure, retirement is guaranteed, you are the departure lounge of life, ready to take the flight out of this world. Your life will be proportional to three things: the people you gave access to, or those you denied access; the places, the geography you allow yourself to see, and the one you denied yourself from seeing; the moments you prioritize, and the ones you deprioritize. That's your life. That's the size of your pocket. That's the quality of your peace. That's the weight of your legacy. Those three things. The devil will never attack any other thing in your life except those three. God will never empower you in any other way outside those three. That's your war battleground right there. People, places, moments. Focus on them. You don't need a bunch of keys to open a door. You know too much. You just need one key, the right key to open a door, not a bunch. You don't need to know too many things in this life. Focus on those three. Boom, right there. Boom. You just got your journey. Just got your journey. Get mentors into your life, but let me shock you. If you read my book alone, I'm not your mentor. I'm a voice in your life, no doubt. I am a teacher in your life, no doubt, but I'm not your mentor. Mentoring is a walking, talking relationship. You can't say somebody is your mentor that you have no relationship with. So go and pursue that relationship. You have many teachers. Read their book, listen to their work, their podcast, from my father. They're your teachers, they're your voices. They're not your mentor. When they are your mentor, there's a walking, talking relationship. You can call them, you can text. They may take their time to respond, but you have that access. That's mentoring. Get mentors. You'll be blessed to have three in your life. If you have more than that, none of them is your mentor. You are fully liable. Real mentors, you'll be blessed in this life to have three. In fact, if you have one, you are really one that is really one, you'll be blessed. To have two, you are awesome. Three, you are the most powerful person in the world. You'll be lucky in a lifetime to have one. Real one. And who is that mentor? Somebody who you can be totally naked with. Not physical nakedness. I don't mean that. I mean vulnerable. Somebody you can be vulnerable with anything. Somebody you can be completely vulnerable with and will not lose a single respect for you. If you have to guard yourself, you have to, you don't want to make a mistake. You don't have a mentor yet. Your mentor is prepared for your best day and for your worst day. On your worst day, the person that can stand with your respect intact, that's the guy. Those who are only ready to embrace you on your greatest strength alone are not prepared for your weaknesses. They are not your mentor. They are definitely not your friends. You see what I'm saying? The real people you need in your life are those who are ready for your strength, for your weakness, for your you can build your life with anyone on perfect behavior, on the standards of perfect behavior. You will never supply perfect behavior. So if people hold you accountable to that, or you hold people accountable to that, you are unfair, you are mean, and you are blind. Don't confuse what is easy for you to do or what is easy to do at all. It can be easy for you. By the graces of your life, it's easy for you. It doesn't make it easy. I used to hold my staff, everybody. God told me one day, you are holding them accountable to your rules, to your ease. It's easy for you, that does not make it easy for them. Do you know what it took to become you? Take them at their level, not on your pace. Because they are not you. I drop my hands immediately. That's empathy, compassion. That's coaching, guiding, leading. That's it. So your mentor should be that. Plus, your mentor should be spiritually, professionally, and experientially qualified to offer you your way forward. So that they have it in their head or in their phone. Either they have it in their head or in their network. But the goal of mentoring is pacing. If your mentors can't pace you, you don't have a mentor. Most able to pace you. It's advancement. The goal of association is three things. I don't care whether it's dating, marriage, friendship, employee, employer. The goal of association is relief, peace, and progress. That's the goal of any association. Any association. If you're in a relationship where you can't find relief, peace, and progress, you're not in a relationship. You are in a soccer game where somebody is the soccer and somebody is the soccer. You are busy draining each other, pretending to be in a relationship. The goal of any association, whether it's a PA, a staff, a CEO, a friend, you're dating, your date, or your husband or your boyfriend, the goal of that relationship is relief, peace, and progress. There'll be corrections, there'll be mistakes, but we disagree to agree on relief, peace, and progress. That's it. Keep that in mind. Let me give you this tiny advice. There's no human being in your life, no matter how knowledgeable they are, not even PK, not me, not anybody in this world, that should be the reason for what you do. Any advice you receive from anybody is to expand your wisdom table, is to expand your options. You have to take the decision. And take it. To be decisive is by far more critical than the right decision. God is bigger than your errors. So if you are waiting to get it right every time, you will never do anything. In fact, this is why I say it. If you are ready, you are late. Go and check it. Every time you say, I'm ready, check it. Everybody has gone, they left you there. You don't empower readiness. Just get all your information that you need, put everything on your table. When you talk to your mentor, the goal is not to do what they told you to do. When you talk to your mentors, The goal is not to obey them. No. And a mentor that holds you to the standard of obedience is playing God in your life. Your mentor should not fight you because you are not obeying him. The goal is not obedience. The goal of a mentor is to expand your view of things, to put more options on your table. You have to make up your mind. You have to take the decision. You have to be 110% responsible for what you do. So if I'm mentoring you and I give you advice, even if you don't take it, I'm okay. I just want to consider it. Once you consider it, I'm fine. If you take another decision and it didn't work for you, I'm still fine. I will still say it's okay. I will still stand by you and still cover you. You didn't do anything wrong. Because you can't complain about what you permit. And you cannot blame me for it. I don't want you to do what I told you and you come and say, oh, PK, you told me. No, I didn't tell you. I contributed to you. You did it. That is why when people go to jail, they go to jail alone. If I give you an advice, you go and carry it out and you're going to jail, nobody's going to come and arrest me. It's you. You will go alone because you are responsible for it. Everybody you see in jail, they are representing so many other people that should go with them, including the parents that abused them, the uncle that abused them when they were young, the boys that raped them, the teacher that gave them the wrong advice, the one, including the movie, the actors they were watching, the songs that pushed them into that kind of thinking. All those people are all accomplices. They should go to jail with them. But the law doesn't capture those people. It captures only you because you did it. You are that responsible. If that is it, then nobody should tell you what to do. Nobody. Take what everybody says. Listen to your mentors. Value everything they say. Put it on your table. But you got a decision to make. That's really how to live a life of authentic disruption and keeping your life flowing. There's so many things I can say, but I can pause here. I don't know if there are questions or anything, but I'll just pause here. Questions. Just 5 minutes. I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so just wanted to check.
I don't know who was talking. Questions. I can hear you.
Okay, we're just trying to check if there are any questions in the comment section.
I know. I'm just letting him know that he's speaking very low. I'm just letting him know if you think we are not hearing you, we are hearing you.
Okay, I know a bunch of us listening. If you have any questions, please. I think some people are just, they are basking in the moment. Something I'm holding on today. People, places, and moments. Those are things that you need to think about. Okay. Are we having any questions in the chat box? Okay, I see some people laughing. All right. If you have any questions for PK, this is the right time. Please make sure you drop it in the chat box. And if you have heard anything that he has said tonight, please also drop it in the chat box. Right. Okay. Somebody said, can PK please share on Revelation? that revelation you said.
Okay, let me get into that. Revelation, you see, academics is what you are taught. Education is what you teach yourself. Revelation is what you are given, right? And education has ruled the world. It has given us incredible things in this world. But the next level of domination we're going to see is by revelation. And revelation is a walking, talking relationship with the Holy Spirit. That's where it comes from. It's a close relationship with your maker, with your creator, deep in your spirit, right? And I need to say this is very important. Revelation come for redemption. They don't come to entertain or make you feel good or make you prosperous. That's not revelation. If you want to have money, education is enough. If you want to be successful, education is enough. If you want revelation, then you want to change the world. So start dreaming. You have to dream big. You can't be dreaming to one day have a house of your own. That's not a dream. Have you not dreamt before that you're using your head to work? Dreams don't make sense. When you say you are dreaming and everything you are dreaming about is in your logic, it's not a dream you have, it's a goal. Once your dream makes sense, it's an objective, it's not a dream again. Your dream is speaking to your sense of wonder. That should be impossible in your logic. So the guys who thought that man can fly, that's a dream. The guys who thought of the internet, that's a dream. The guys who thought of social media, those are dreamers. The guys who built merchant banking, those are dreamers. Dream. Start dreaming of the impossible. And the Bible says he's able to do exceedingly abundantly above whatever you can imagine. Anyway, whatever you can imagine or think or ask, he can do above it. He will do exceedingly abundantly above it. So whatever you imagine is the least of what you can do. When you are done imagining, the Bible says he can do exceedingly abundantly above that imagination. What about that? So you have to cultivate the practice of God's presence. That's what I call it. You have to cultivate the practice of God's presence. You have to be aware. Now, let me give you this insight. This wisdom will help you. You know, if you are in church and your girlfriend is by your side, beautiful girl, the girl you love the most in this world, your girlfriend is saying, let's have sex in church. She's trying to touch you inside church. I'm sure you will tell her, are you crazy? Are you aware that we are in church? Is something wrong with you? Are you touching me like this in church? Why are you talking like this? We are in church, man. Stop that. And she will stop. Then you get out of the church. You are now in the house. You are in your bedroom. You now call her. Lizzie, what were you doing there in church? Why are you trying to touch me in church? That's nonsense. Don't try that. We're in God's presence. I don't like it at all. I'm going to be doing that, man. I can't deal with this relationship. Okay? Oh, yeah, come. Oh, yeah, come. Because you are in the bedroom. Now, you see, you forgot that the God that is in church is in you. And when you are in the bedroom, he's still there. But that's not your idea of God's presence. Your idea of God's presence is that when we are in church, he's there. As you are in that bedroom kissing, God is watching you like this. He's there, right there with you. It's not when you go to church. You are the one that brought him into the church and you took him out. And he's with you right there in the bedroom, right? Do you know anyone that loves drink? You just say, I just enter church on Sunday morning, give me Gouda, and just open Gouda, bam. Give me a bottle of beer, and just open it, bam. Right in church, he would never do. If you offer him, he will say, are you guys mad? If I should drink beer in church, come on, stop it. Now, he can leave that church and go to a beer parlor because his idea of God is geography sensitive, is space and matter. So when God is now doing stuff around that guy, how will he pick it? He can't pick it. He can't pick God when he's in the beer parlor. That's why he's drinking. If he can know that God is there, he won't drink. Because when he knew God was there in church, he didn't drink. When he knew God was there in church, he didn't have sex. So when he's drinking in the beer parlor, he doesn't think God is there. So his knowledge of God's presence is faulty, right? And his practice of God's presence is impossible. So when you get to the boardroom, you know, when you get to church, your pastor can play keyboard to invite the Holy Spirit, create an environment. You guys are worshiping, everybody will be feeling God. But that's your pastor. In the real world, nobody's going to play keyboard for you to feel God in the boardroom or when you are going for interview. There's no praise worship leader that will help you carry one song so I can go for your interview. There's nothing like that. So you must be able to pick God without keyboard, without choir, without worship song, without all of that. All those things that you are indulged with in church will not be there in the real world when you get out there. So it's more complex for you out there than it is for your pastor, because your pastor doesn't work in the corporate world, doesn't do anything. So he can create any environment he wants. You don't have that privilege. When you go out, so the way you will experience the Holy Spirit and revelation is different from the way your pastor is experiencing it. There's an ease that comes with it. You have to be in a state, and that state of being is different. It doesn't have keyboard in it. It doesn't have worship leader in it. It doesn't have choir behind you. It doesn't have, let's come with the songs. There's nothing like that. And you are in a boardroom where they are opposing you mightily. You need insight. And the room is hot with malice, with envy, with strife, with treachery. And you must pierce through all of that. and just see the next level of the internet. The culture is so tough with all kinds of energy, all kinds of toxicity out there. Through all of that, you see the next level of medicine. You see the next level of fashion. You see the next level of music. You see the next level of whatever it is. The next level of of cars, of machines. But to do that, you need to begin the practice of God's presence. You need to begin to get conscious that God is with you every time. And then it begins to train you. And for those of you who are Christians, I want to believe you guys are Christians. That's why you pushed me to that point. And I heard the other speaker quoting scripture a lot. That's why I got a bit comfortable. You know, the gentleman that spoke before me, incredible man. Get into God's word, man. I always tell people, find time. If you're a Christian, don't live like everybody. 3 chapters a day, 5 on Sunday, you finish the Bible every year. 6 chapters a day, 10 on Sunday, you finish it every 6 months. 12 a day, 20 on Sunday, you finish it every 3 months. I just encourage you to do it once and see where your mind will open to. Just once. Right? And when you read books when you read a material like the Bible, don't try to remember what you read. It's not a test of recall. You can finish it and you can't remember what you read. It's fine. Just keep reading. It shows up in the day of contradiction, in the day of need, in the day of complexity. It will show up. It will rise up by itself. It will come out, not necessarily as a quote. It can come out as a thought. It can come out as a frown. It can come out as a posture. It can come out as anger. It will come out of you. But you got to stay in it. Just keep staying in it. Right? There's a lot of practice to that, but I think I should leave it there.